Hey there, have you ever wanted to write a book and you don't know where to start? You know, you have this burning desire within you and you're like, I'm going to do something amazing with this book, and you have this vision of a bright future for your book. And yet there's something there and you're like, I've just never done it before. You know, I was the same way a few years ago, and I had this desire to write a book, and I don't even know where that desire sparked from. But I've got 3 tips for you today that if you want to start a book, you can start it today instead of tomorrow. And you will feel so rewarded after these 3 simple little tips. And if you're new to my channel, my name is Vicki, and I help women have everyday confidence, freedom, and self-worth to go and create the life that they love. So this video is about book writing. So I've recently finished my very first book. The manuscript is finished. It's called How to Be Happy Being You. And I've just about finished my second book, which is called Ascend, Living Heaven on Earth. And the tips that I wanted to give you today were the ones that brought me to bring these books into fulfillment and ready for the editor. So the first tip that I wanted to give you today is that you have this idea that you're going to create, and the name of your book will probably change, and that's okay. So what I did when I first had this desire, I had the desire actually for multiple books. So I opened my desktop up and I wrote down the name and the title of the book on my Word doc. And so my first book was called, actually I called it The Soul of a Woman. And that name stuck with it for a long time. And then when I'd finished my book, it was actually like, oh, actually I want to help people be happy. And that's how it turned into How to Be Happy Being You. So that's the first key, is to open your Word doc up and write down the title of your book. And tip number 2 is, after you've written your title down, is write an opening question. So the question is what's going to drive the whole book forward. You know, if you look at the book, what it's actually about, my book was about how to be happy being you. And the question is, so it starts off with a lady who's sitting on an airplane going on a self-discovery adventure. And so the question is, how am I ever going to feel the freedom of my heart? The mum questioned while she was sitting on the plane. So that opening question is what's going to drive the whole book. And so if you're staying with me here, tip number 1 is to write down the title of your book on your Word document and own it, because we've got this great vast universe, and some people call it the great mind, the intelligence of everything. And if you write it down and you own it, you own this book in the great universe of things, it's yours. So write it down and own it. Tip number 2 is write down the question that's going to drive the rest of the book. And then the third tip that I have for you is to read it out loud. Read your title and your question out loud. That will create, even in this great universe, it will create something deeper in you. So if you read it out loud, you can hear how poetic it is, or how it really feels, or how it's going to make others feel. And so once you've written it down and you own it, and you've written down the first question that's going to drive the rest of the book, all these things will probably change over time, and that's okay. But what you're doing when you're doing these things and you're reading it out loud is you're feeling the ownership of your book, and you're creating the bigger vision which is going to bring it forward. Which brings me to the final tip, tip number 4, is about imagining and visualizing. You know, if you look around this property, you'll see that there's mountains as far as the eyes can see. And when you visualize, you imagine your book going out into the universe, into the handbags of ladies all around the world, or a man sitting on a train and he's reading your book, or, you know, a school kid thinking, oh, you know, this book has changed my life. And you imagine this book changing the lives of people all around the world. And if you write it down and you own it, because life does get busy, I have found myself. So on my computer, I have the books written that I own. So if you own your book and you let the world know that you own this book, in the written form, it's going to be yours and it will come to pass. I want to give you that encouragement today that your book will come to pass. If you do this, you write it down, you own it, and you visualize it going out into the world. And then no matter how busy life gets, you will take the time to go and write your book. You know, in these little spare moments here and there, write your book. And I'm so excited for you. If you're writing a book, let me know. I want to hear the title of it. I want to know what you're writing about. And it's so exciting for you. If you found this video useful, give it a like and subscribe to this channel. And I'll see you in the next video.